If you wait for perfect conditions, you'll never get anything done. Hey everyone, welcome to Monday Motivation, a dose of motivation to kick off your week, to get you started, to help you shift that mindset as we enter a new week. And this week, we're actually entering a new quarter. Yay, Q2 is here. Super excited. New time to plan out what we're going to do, a new time to redirect our sales so that we can move forward and achieve our goals for the year. So I don't know about you, but I am super excited, had a fabulous weekend, and I'm ready to hit the ground running today. So grab your coffee, tea, whatever you're drinking this morning, water, protein shake. I had mine earlier. Let's get started. So for those of you that don't know me, hi, my name is Danny. I am the owner and founder of Be Amazing Consulting and Empowered You, the community that comes together like-minded entrepreneurs, professionals, those who are looking to grow themselves, to develop into their best self. I help people make choices that honor their best self. I love to see people step into their own power, step into their own self, the authentic self, their higher self, who they were meant to be, and to live a life they absolutely love. That is what I do. That is who I serve. Passionate and determined people who are ready to make a change, ready to make a difference, ready to get rid of all the nonsense and finally achieve what it is that they were born to achieve, right? All right, so this quote today, this quote of the week is, if you wait for perfect conditions, you'll never get anything done. And this quote is by Bob Proctor. Now, I love this quote for a couple of different reasons. Number one is Bob Proctor. Who doesn't love Bob? I have a long history of studying Bob. I'm a coach one of his, or I facilitate one of his programs. I've been coached and mentored by him. So he's definitely I'm one of his biggest fans. I wish he was one of my biggest fans. That would be cool. But I absolutely love this quote because it hits on a couple of things for me. So not only is it by Bob Proctor, but it also hits these points for me around perfectionism. And if any of you if you've been around long enough, you've probably heard my story around how I thought I had to be perfect. And at 9 years old, I kind of fell into that role of being this perfect person, this perfect girl who had to do everything right, who had, who couldn't make any mistakes, who had to really, go down that line that was kind of set for her and really stay true to what others wanted her to be and who she thought, I'm talking about this other girl, not me, who she thought she had to be, right? And so this really resonates with me because I've been through this a million times and I still struggle with this. As much as I have overcome that idea of being perfect and choosing a different route, I still have these things that come up, right? No matter how much you work on something, there's still going to be times where it's going to come up, it's going to pop up. And so this one is one of them for me, this perfectionism idea. So there was actually just not too long ago, to be completely honest, there was this group, it's a meetup group, right? I do attend a lot of networking events locally here. And so there was this meetup group and I really didn't want to attend because I felt that I wasn't ready to enter this group. I felt that I didn't have the knowledge, I didn't have, I hadn't developed, this part of me yet. And so it was like, I can't go, right? I'm not ready to go yet because I'm not at their level. I'm not at their, right? Like I'm not where they are. And so I need to learn more. I need to get my stuff down. I need to be, in this idea, this image that I have built for myself before, right? Before I could step into this group, before I could attend one of their meetups, before I could hang around with these people, I had to know everything. Right? For me, it's always been, I can't be that dumb girl that doesn't know what everybody's talking about. Like, that's not me. Like, I have to know what everybody's talking about. I have to be able to go in and have this feeling, right? This perfectness, right? So it's interesting because I decided I have been doing some work, and I luckily was able to kind of see something a little bit different. And so I went to this group, and it was absolutely amazing. So everybody there was on a different, different level, and some people are in different paths. I mean, I say level, and I don't mean that in any bad way. I just mean like their journey is different, right? Or their knowledge of certain information is different. And so everybody was on these different, levels, so to speak. And I'm like, okay, like this isn't what I thought, right? I had been waiting and waiting and waiting for months to do this, months to go there. And then I get there and I realize I had made that all up in my head. I had thought, I had these ideas and these beliefs around what this would be like before I even stepped into it, before I even got an idea, right? And so it amazed me to sit there and be like, wow, I had built up this whole story, because we do that, right? We build up these stories in our head of what this is going to be and what it's going to be like and who's going to be there and what they're going to know and how I'm going to feel and how I'm going to be different, like all this stuff, right? And it amazed me that they're just like everybody else, right? They're just like me, right? Many of them are just like me. Many of them are just the same and thinking just the same as me and feeling just the same as me, right? And then there's others who are different, right? Who have learned more and can share that knowledge with me, right? And there's people who don't know yet, who haven't learned yet, who I can there share this knowledge with. And here I was for months and months and months thinking that I had to be this certain person in order to be there. It amazed me. So this quote totally resonates with me because I was waiting for so long, literally probably like 9 months to enter into this environment that I thought I was different from, right? When I absolutely wasn't. I was waiting for these perfect conditions. I was waiting for everything to line up within me perfectly before I could do this. So what did it do? It stopped me for 9 months. It stopped me from taking action. It stopped me from putting myself into these environment, right? Into any of these environments that I was feeling this way with. So if you're feeling this way, right? Because we all have some slight amount of this. Hey, Miss Sarah, some of us have this idea of being perfect before we can do something, right? We think it has to be exactly perfect, right? Before we even put it out there, before we step into this environment, before we do something. But what that does is that stops us from taking action. That keeps us in a stuck state. This keeps us in a place where we don't do what we really want to do. So on the other side of me going to that group, right, opened me up to so many other possibilities, opened me up to this new enlightenment, opened me up to new contacts, so many different things that I now opened myself up to just by simply putting myself in that situation, just by simply taking that first step, which was to go meet these people and see what it was like, right? And so there's things on the other side, right? So I heard yesterday, I was in a class yesterday, and I heard our instructor say that our comfort zone is really just us being stuck in a state. So we're just stuck in this comfort zone. We are not taking action. We are not in momentum. We are not in movement. And if we're stuck, if we're not moving, that means we're not growing. Bob Bob says this all the time, right? If I'm not moving, I'm dying, right? If I'm not growing, I'm dying. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to die. I'm not ready to die. I've got so much more to do in this world, right? So I always want to be moving forward, right? Taking action, being in momentum, whatever that is, right? But if I'm waiting constantly for everything to just line up just perfectly, I'm not going to do that, right? I'm going to stay stuck. I'm going to stay in my comfort zone, which is what I did for 9 months, stay in my comfort zone and just kind of think about it over here, right? But never take action. So one of the things that happens is as I thought, was if I went, I'm going to look stupid. That was the first one, right? So there was this idea of failing. I didn't want to fail, right? But failing isn't a bad thing because failing means I'm learning. Failing means I'm growing. I'm understanding. Failing gives me the opportunity to try something new. It's not the end all. There's been many things that I've tried and failed at. There's been many times where I said, I'm going to do this, and then I didn't, and I failed. And I learned, like, wow, interesting. So I said I was going to do this, and I did this instead. Okay, what is that, right? The more we understand ourselves, the more we understand why we do what we do, the better we know how to direct our attention and our energy in the future, right? To adjust our sails, as I said at the top of this live, right? It's Q2. It's time to adjust our sails. If we haven't liked what we did in the first quarter and we're nowhere near maybe where we want to reach for our goals for 2018, it's an opportunity right now to say, okay, where am I now? How can I adjust so that I can move forward, so that I can reach that, right? We don't have to throw it all out and say, oh, well, I didn't do anything this quarter. Nothing happened. So now I'm just going to give up. Or the flip side of it and say, okay, now I got to really push hard. Adjust the sails, right? I was looking at I did my Q2 planning last week or the week before. And so, I looked at it this morning to say, okay, today's day 1, right? What am I going to do? And I looked at it and I thought, wow, you know what? I really want to adjust this. There was something even from 2 weeks ago that I realized I want to adjust. I want to adjust it just slightly and make a new path. It doesn't mean that I failed at making that plan. It doesn't mean that I'm gonna fail in any way. It just means I've seen something different. I've seen that I want to adjust. I don't have to stick to that. I want to adjust. I want to move. I want to move a different way because I'm not waiting for things to just be perfect. I'm waiting for myself to take action, and I'm done waiting. I'm ready to take action. I don't know about you, but I'm ready. All right. So last but not least, when you are in that comfort zone, when you are keeping yourself stuck there, because that's what you're doing, you're keeping yourself stuck, you can't sometimes see the outside. You can't sometimes see what could be on the other side because you're so worried about what could happen. What ifs, right? What ifs always stop us from doing something. So I want you to think about, what if those what ifs were gone? What if no barriers were in your way? What could potentially be there for you? And when you look at it from that perspective, like what could that be on the other side? It kind of opens you up a little bit more to say, okay, if these weren't a problem for me, then I could do this. And then look at what are those things that you're doing? What are those things that are stopping you? What are those things that you're saying are barriers for you right now? Are they waiting for a perfect condition? Are they waiting for something else to happen before you can do this thing? Right? What if that wasn't needed? What if you could still do it? Right? Interesting. All right, so don't get stuck, guys. Keep moving. Keep moving forward. Don't wait, because if you wait, trust me, you won't get anything done. All right, that is it for us today. That is a dose of motivation to get you started for the week, to kick off this fabulous new quarter. I would love to know what your one takeaway is from today's live. What is one thing that you're like, you know what? I knew that, but yep. Thank you for the reminder, right? Sometimes we just need the reminder. I know I need it. So, all right, that is it. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great rest of your week. Sarah, thanks for hopping on. Have a great day, my lady. And I want to remind you to remember to be you and to be amazing. Bye.